Daryl hunts whispers, Beta hunts Alexandrians, and Gabriel shows his power as a servant of God. Meanwhile, here in the real world, we're dealing with a pandemic of our own. It's The Walking Dead, Season 10, Episode 10, Stalker. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of The Walking Dead. So of course, spoilers are coming up, and as always, do want to remind you about our quick jump index section. Right in the description below, we'll have this entire review titleized and time-stamped, broken down completely. You can jump to the end of the review first, you can watch the beginning last, you can watch this review in any order you'd like. Alright, so before we get to the review itself, I do want to take just one brief moment to say, hey guys, I hope you're all alright. As mentioned in the opening, yeah, we are facing a bit of a pandemic ourselves. The coronavirus, COVID-19, has spread to 48 countries. We've got more than 86,000 people infected, almost 3,000 deaths worldwide. We just had our first death in the United States announced this weekend. So, a lot of dangers right there. It's a scary world out there. Even more to the point, it's affecting markets. The Dow Jones Industrial Average here in the U.S. has dropped 4,000 points in the past week. We may be facing an instant recession. More than that, we have supply chains being cut off around the world. We are having already shortages of some items, including face masks, which of course, very big ticket item right now. So look, it's a bit of a scary time out there, but to be honest, if anybody should be prepared for this, it's us, Walking Dead fans. We've been watching the show for 10 years. We have all had the discussion about what we're going to do in the zombie apocalypse. Folks, dry test, real life, right now. Seriously. As with any infection, you gotta watch out. Mainly, first thing, wash your hands. That's like 90% of it. Staying clean, washing your hands, trying to avoid people that are coughing. If you are feeling ill, please don't go out right in the middle of regular flu season. So it's not just the virus itself, it is the psychological aspect that anybody sick may be a carrier. And that creates a lot of panic out there. So first off, be safe, stay calm, wash your hands, wear clean clothing, try not to go out to large gatherings of people unnecessarily. I mean, like I said, we already have a lot of shutdowns of that. In Japan, they've shut down schools. There are questions about whether or not the Olympics is even going to go on. The Game Developers Conference was shut down because so many game developers aren't going. In Europe, there's a whole, they have one of their big tech conferences got shut down. Big Facebook conference got shut down. So there's a lot of effects that are beginning to snowball out. So, use your zombie apocalypse preparation techniques. Make sure you got food and water out there. Could there be a quarantine? Possibly. Mostly worried about supply chain runs. We're a global economy. As China shuts down, that's going to shut out a lot of supply changes, not just tech, but medical as well, because of all the manufacturing, and that will snowball down the line. So be sure that you have food and water, basic medical supplies. Make sure that you're up on any prescriptions and things like that that you have to have. Make sure they're non-perishable goods. And just be mindful of the world around you. We don't want to go into a state of panic. We don't want to make this worse. However, we are just in the beginning stages of something that could burn itself out or could last quite some time. Be safe, be prepared. Make sure you got food, make sure you got water, make sure you got any prescriptions. Don't go out unnecessarily, and if you're not feeling well, please stay home. Your boss will understand. Alright, so for the episode itself, Stalker, really enjoyed this one. I have to say, do I have nitpicks? Of course I have nitpicks. You guys know me. But overall, I really did enjoy this episode. We had some really good character work. We had some great moments. We had characters behaving like mostly pretending like behaving like characters, then sometimes going off. Stalker, of course, is the title. We're referring to a couple of things. One, primarily, we got Daryl stalking Whispers, looking to find out more information on Connie and Magda. We have Beta stalking Alexandrians, and Gamma, really in a way, stalking Alexandrians in a way to get to Gamma. Then, of course, as things sort of go on, Gamma does a little bit of stalking of Beta. We have Alpha doing a little stalking of Daryl. And then, of course, we have Gabriel proving some badassery. Really a great change from where this character used to be. Gabriel was not a favorite of mine when he first showed up. He was danger incarnate. You didn't know if he was going to get himself killed or get other people killed around him. And over the years, the character really has evolved into a kind of scary man now. And even stronger because of his connection with Rosita. Really seeing that couple power action going on right here. You get the communication, the quiet stuff, just the look, letting things know as they're interviewing Gamma/Mary. And then confronting each other on issues that they're having, but always with the support, even as it ends. We have them still being a very strong couple. So some really nice things going on character-wise. Again, a few issues. Sure, I thought Daryl kind of overextended. Some of that went a little bit out of character. Some of the ending stuff, not quite as impactful. But some really strong scenes. Like I said, great character interactions, and I think a good return to form. An episode I really pretty much enjoyed from beginning to end. Alright, well, let's kick things off with our stalkers. We are starting with Daryl. And as I said, I really loved his reintroduction. I loved the camera work they had with Daryl sneaking up behind the Whispers, knife pulled, the camera's moving with, comes up to the Whispers as the other ones come out. You're like, oh no, he's being spotted. Camera spins around, Daryl's gone. I mean, again, good use of camera work to show a dynamic quality to the hunting, even when he's like in the riverbed underneath and we've got the walker up above, or the Whisper up above him, and he's moving. I mean, it was just some really good stuff. Really like seeing, this is Daryl in his element. Unfortunately, kind of after this point is where I kind of lost a little bit of, I mean, one, I love the fact that he follows them down, he finds an entrance to the cave. I don't know if it's the entrance, but they're certainly pulling Horde members out, as we find out they're sending groups back up against Alexandria. So we're not in the whole Horde coming out. Though, now that he's found this entrance, the active entrance, tactically he could pause for a moment, do a count. How big is this Horde? Couldn't see a whole lot in the cave. We're just seeing little bits now. You know, how big is the Horde? Is it just large as they fear? Or is it maybe a little bit smaller? The number of Whispers, larger or smaller? This would be a good time for gathering information. On the other hand, Kelly, Connie, Magda, trapped inside cave. Not a lot of time to do that. So I guess going after Alpha was a choice for information. However, part of me would have thinks as soon as they had pulled out, go into the cave. You found the entrance. Now you have another way to go in and hunt down and look. Because his assault on Alpha makes the assumption that Connie and Magna are captured. And that's kind of and would be still kept alive. And that seems sort of a reach. So that particular choice I didn't agree with, but I can understand. He's in a hurry. There's a little bit of a panic. And I love his initial attack, taking out the first one with the bow. He didn't have the crossbow with him, but it did look like an arrow. It did look like a bolt. Anyway, taking the first one out so that walkers around the Whispers attack, thin out the numbers. But it just seemed that to me that Daryl to me is a very smart hunter. And he seemed to overextend himself with this, both in numbers and going straight after Alpha. I mean, I love kind of like the dynamics of it. And it's showing that Alpha is a much stronger fighter, certainly be able to get in a few blows against Daryl. But especially once the number of walkers came around, he should have sort of taken off. He could have done a strategic retreat, thinned things out, standing off, especially with the bloody eye. Just, I don't know. Part of it was the exact same eye effect I watched Brightburn a few weeks ago, which is fun, good low-budget film, visioning of an evil Superman-type character. I think they missed a few points of it, but they do have a similar type of shot with a wounded eye and blood in it and that single shot. So I kind of just saw that, so it kind of pulled me out for a moment when I saw that camera perspective. I just think that Daryl really he overextended himself. And I see him to being a much smarter hunter. The following scenes, again, were good. It's like Alpha's coming back after him. They do a nice kind of little reversal there. Daryl's hunting Alpha, then Alpha hunts Daryl. But Alpha also wounded, only she has the advantage of pulling in the walkers, so all she has to do is make a noise, pull the walkers in after Daryl. So, I mean, I kind of like the dynamics off of this. But the knife in Daryl's leg, they're moving around a lot. I understood we couldn't pull it out because squirty and losing blood, and it's probably holding her artery together. I kind of get that, but even then, I guess when everything quieted down and we had the quiet scene between Alpha and Daryl, I just started losing a little interest. Because I also know you're not going to kill either one of these characters. So, to me, you're kind of wasting time. Lydia showing up was a nice surprise. You don't know if it's an illusion or a hallucination from Alpha or not, and how Alpha's like ready to die there. Go ahead and kill me. I'll hand things over. It was kind of a nice moment, and then also very cruel when Lydia's like, yeah, okay, but I'm not here for you. Hitting on the exact stuff that sort of drabbed Alpha's kind of final attack on Daryl when he tells her that she ran away because you didn't love her. What did you say to me? What did you say to me? And so when now she's collapsed and Lydia shows up and Lydia does this thing, hey, I'm not here for you. I'm here to rescue Daryl. So it kind of works. What did Alpha say at the end? I have shed my weakness. I no longer have my weakness. That being Lydia. So she can fully embrace, and now it's the end of the world, and they go off in the whole big chant thing. But like I said, she seemed to be like at death's door, and then she wasn't. And Lydia showing up seemed a little bit of a deus ex machina. God character showing up to just sort of rescue everybody and take away the danger. It was a little much, but it is a nice transition. I was fair at the moment. I can just say, just that the little sap at the end just seemed a little too much for me. And again, I think it's mostly because knowing that neither of these characters are going to die, Daryl or Alpha, it removed that tension from me. So just not as impactful as maybe it was meant to be. Now, our other Stalker is, of course, Beta. Opening shot showing that the Whisperers got a caravan. They got a camper in the middle of nowhere. Did they find it there? I'm going to knock over the poster. Did they find it there, or did they bring it there? They drag it along to cover up. So it was kind of an interesting opening bit there of just this plain camper opens up and you got just two Whispers sitting there. They're not even faking playing cards. I mean, come on. Now this is kind of interesting. This was in a way mini cool. The idea of the Whispers as diggers, as tunnelers. Kind of underground, grave-ish. I guess the cave is sort of an idea, but I think tunneling, again, very much more kind of an undead feel, especially the shot that they have when Beta pulls himself out of the grave, which ends up being Dante's grave. They're very accurate diggers and tunnelers. I mean, there's symbolism, I guess, associated with that. But him pulling himself with the ground, it's very frightening. Very idea, the fact that they could pop up anywhere. I mean, tactically, my God, that's terrifying. Where could they get to? On the other hand, it's kind of a waste of that tactical advantage just to go after Gamma. I mean, when Beta shows up and pulls himself out, and I wasn't sure at the moment if they were in Alexandria or in Hilltop, it was terrifying. And it was great. They shot it really horror-like, with the two guys talking crap about, oh, Whispers are going to get this. Oh, when Lydia did this, I said this, and these people I killed. It was, and meanwhile, right behind him, you see Beta come up and turn the light off, and then it's perfectly dark, and then they're done with. We get the wider shot of just him coming up behind people, lights going. I mean, it was a beautiful bit. Even that end where that one guy's bleeding and dragging himself out. He's not even concerned. He knows about to drop. And he just waits for the walkers to reanimate. I mean, really terrifying. Tactically brilliant. Break in. No one knows. Kill the enemy. Use their numbers as your warriors against them. It was just sad that it was kind of a distraction. Maybe a few more whispers, a few more hits. You could have made it bigger. You could have wiped out possibly Alexandria at that moment. Especially since we find out from Gabriel they'd used an attack on one of the outposts, and apparently Beta made the scout say, we've got people out here before killing, and that dragged him out. You'd appreciate the numbers. They could have taken Alexandria, I think. And unfortunately, now the Alexandrians know that their diggers, their tunnelers are going to be aware of that. It's hard to, when they can pop up anywhere, to keep an eye on everything. But I think that was a waste of a huge technical advantage just to get Gamma. Wiping out some numbers, but that didn't seem to be the thing, of attacking Alexandria, which is what I thought it was. It was just getting Gamma. And that was kind of cool. I mean, again, we had some nice turnaround of Gamma trying to pull Mary Gamma in with him. Come to me, walk to me. I mean, I guess maybe a little foreshadowing was why he couldn't just come up and grab her, but I guess didn't want her to struggle, make more of a noise, go willingly. Poor Laura. Nice that she showed up with the axe there to try and defend Mary, let her get out. That was great. She looked dead at the end, though. It'd be kind of a shame going from Savior's and Negan's almost right hand after the whole Simon debacle, and now rescuing Gamma and getting killed by Beta. That would suck. I kind of like Laura. But we can't be sure for sure. No, for sure. We'll find out in the aftermath probably next episode. And then we had Judith doing her little pop-up. I have to say, I love Judith shooting Beta. Was really waiting for that. I want Judith to do more. I'm kind of on the fence with her as a character. I love the fact that she shot Beta through the door. We should all know headshots, but bullets aren't a whole lot, and you don't know that Beta's armored. Still, an awesome scene and a great turnaround. We get, of course, Rosita facing her fears with facing Beta right there, which was a nice turnaround, and we'll get to Rosita in just a minute. So kind of a nice sort of switch and turn there, and then Gamma turning it back around onto Beta, putting the old knife to her neck and saying, Alpha wants me alive. Now, come to me. It was cool, okay? That was nice. I thought the final separation at the end where, I don't know if Mary leads her down the road intentionally to a point where Gabriel's going to come, or was just kind of hoping for that. But I kind of like that sort of switch around. I think they should have been able to capture Beta there. I thought that was too much of an easy getaway, but I like the fact that Gamma just drops down the whole time she's been trying to convince who she was, and she's kind of took the same thing. I think all she had to say was like, go back and ask Rosita and Judith, and everything's cool. But it was a nice sort of wrap-up. So I like all I do. Really, I love the whole horror shots. Very terrifying. I just think it's unfortunate that there's now a great strategic advantage the Whisperers had that they sort of wasted. Just to get Gamma, at least have a full-on attack with that. And then Gabriel and Rosita, as a new power couple, really enjoying their dynamic. I mean, any strong relationship where you can have those quiet communications where your partner knows what you're thinking without you having to say it, those are always the best kind of relationships. And when they're able to be properly expressed on screen, I think it really makes characters even stronger. When Gamma shows up, and again, another beautiful shot scene as they open the gate and Gamma's there and just surrounded by people with spears pointed right at her. Just a beautiful shot, really establishing the concerns that Alexandrians have with the Whisperers. There's not one, there's not two, there's like 6 of them. But a great back and forth as Mary tries to express who she was. And we get the little visions, as Gabriel's interviewing and glances back at Rosita. Hey, I don't trust her. She's not saying the right thing. Yeah, I believe her, but not. So much was able to be communicated in those couple of little exchanges. I thought it was presented well, and I love that choice as a character. Even more so the fact that the two of them are not always agreeing. We have later on when Rosita confronts Gabriel about maybe going a little too far, asking for teeth and fingers. Hey, I'm a little worried about you. And in the meantime, he's a little worried about her freezing. She's having these nightmares. Great, again, opening scene of the Whisper going after the baby and the whole terror associated with that. They're not the perfect couple, and they have faults and issues with each other. But that doesn't stop them, and in fact, that becomes a trust thing. Later on, when we have when they decide they have to go out after Daryl and everyone and sort of break up, and then they see the walkers that are coming in, Rosita has that moment where she's lost and she's thinking and she's almost panicking, and Gabriel's able to see that and make the choice for her, and then turn and say, hey, I didn't mean to speak for you, but I can see you're kind of having an issue. And her being able to take that honest reflection and go, yeah, you're right, I am kind of freaking out. You should go and I should stay here. It's the fact that through all of this, they're able to work off of each other's strengths, point out issues that they're having, and still be able to support and go, hey, maybe I'm not in the best choice here. Oh yeah, maybe I am going too far. But then again, maybe I have a reason to be angry. It's a nice couple dynamic, and I really think that they handled this beautifully, and it made the Alexandria scene so much more interesting because there were so many different communications that were going on within the scene, within both the characters, vocally and non-vocally. Plus the whole acknowledgement. They're a good couple. They're communicative and they're supportive. And I really think that boosted up all of the scenes and really kicked up all of the energy that the two of them were in. And of course, nothing really represents that even better than our Scene of the Week for this week. And yeah, it's the jail cell scene with Gabriel and Rosita interrogating Gamma. My God, was Gabriel terrifying in that. I loved it, and it was beautifully shot. The close-ups that we just have, like half of Gabriel's face, and then through the bars, and the shot where you just get sort of that dead eye, and the sort of glimpses back and forth. I mean, really, there was so much. The camera work built on top of the power that Gabriel was putting in his position. You were here, the last person was dead. Did you kill him? No, I didn't kill him. Gabriel stepping forward, I killed him. And then going on with the whole, I know that you are holding back. This isn't a costume. I'm not kidding with this. signifies me as a servant of God, whereas I have heard so many confessions I know when people are holding back. It's using his experience apically, perfectly for this moment. And appropriately that he gets her to confess. Confess your sins, which she does. The whole thing about her sister. She didn't just die. I killed her. I killed her for Alpha, and she didn't even have to ask me to do it. What is Mary Gamma tells Judith a little bit later on, Alpha has this ability to make you forget. But just showing the kind of spell that Mary Gamma was under. But just, again, the power and there was such a commitment to Gabriel's every choice there. Every statement, every choice. It was power, it was unflinching, it was unforgivable. Even when she's just like, ask God if I'm lying. I already talked to God, he wants me to hang you. It's just, and again, not a waver of the voice. It was a perfectly set up scene. And it really, it was effective. Mary was contrite, it was straight, but it built all of this. And again, without this whole arc that we've had with Gabriel as the lost preacher before who gave up his whole flock to protect himself, to now embodying that position with an unwavering straightness and commitment to his people and safety and the truth. It was awesome to see. Now, admittedly, he does go a little too far, I think, when he starts talking about we can see that they can break, and we can break them, capture them, pull teeth, cut off fingers. He's going a little too far, I think. I like that Rosita kind of was like, hey, man, back off a little. Sure, you got a reason to be angry, but back it off a little. You're going too far. But in the scene before, in the jail cell, that energy worked perfectly. All right, just a couple of small things. One, there's a comment when Gabriel and everyone in Alexandria is prepping, when Gabriel mentions, is Earl sending the new weapon sets? What are those? Did we get to see them? I mean, they sort of armored themselves up. Maybe it was that. But I have to say, just Earl sending new weapon sets kind of gets me excited. See, it's some really cool stuff. Nice final note that Lydia left for her mom, carved in with the knife that was previously sticking out of Daryl's leg until he yanked it out to kill the one walker. Squirty. Your way is not the only way. Again, very reminiscent. Last thing she had said, they're human, just human. They're not perfect. It's what I wanted and what you weren't willing to give me. Again, just reinforcing that separation now that Lydia has had from Alpha. But again, a nice final little note. Your way is not the only way. Kind of an important statement for the larger world, I suppose. All right, and like I had mentioned last week, I want to try and answer a few fan questions. So Pelican Mike had brought up that Daryl seems to have stepped into Rick's shoes. What do we think about Daryl's moves here? And I have to say, yes, I completely agree. I love Daryl stepping up into that position of leadership. Like I mentioned last week, I like the fact that they are doing it slowly. You know, he was kind of out there on the outs, and now as the leaders, the other people that he has been looking forward to sort of take that position, have either fallen by the wayside or are not living up to what they could be doing. I think that's forcing Daryl to step in and take care of things. He is moving into leadership by necessity and not out of desire. And I think that always makes the best leaders. And in many ways, I think that's what made Rick a great leader too. He did it because he had to do it, not so much because he wanted to. Let's see. Then we had Live Apes Rule. Hi. Had also mentioned, kind of like I had talked before, one of the problems with Carol and Daryl and their sort of tensions, the fact that we know that those characters aren't going to die, and so it kind of removes some of the tension of what they're dealing with. And yeah, exactly. That's the same exact thing that I had noticed with the Daryl and Alpha scene as well. We know these characters aren't going to die. So putting them in those life or death situations, it's hard for us as the audience to sort of fall in with that tension because we know they're going to make it out of there. So yes, I completely agree. When you have characters that you know are going to live, putting them in life or death situations, that tension doesn't carry. Difference would be like Laura this episode. Is she dead? Is she alive? She's not a major character, so she could definitely be taken out, but we also like her, so if she stuck around a little bit longer, that'd be nice. So, yeah, exact thing. Knowing people aren't going to die removes tension, for sure. And then just want to say hi. Alex, Stinger B Co, Belinda, Dog Miyagi, love that. CJ, all of you had some nice comments there. Just want to be sure to say hi. And thanks as always for watching and commenting. All right, well, I think that's going to go ahead and wrap things up. So this is 2 in out of 8, 6 episodes to go. We know it's the end for Michonne, so tension building up to find out what happens out on the island. And are we really going to wrap up the Whispers this season, the next few episodes? Is something going to stretch out into next season? I don't know. As always, we sort of have to wait. I think they're wrapping things up. I think this is going to be just a very intense last 6 episodes. If they carry it forward along the similar lines of this episode, I am very excited about what's to come. But that is going to wrap things up for now for us. So thank you, as always, for joining me with these reviews. And of course, if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like button. Share it with your friends and thoughts and ideas. Put them down in the section below. What'd you guys think about this episode? Did you love the hunting? Did you love the stalking? Did you love Gabriel's invocation of the power of God? And what is it that you're looking forward to see in the rest of this season? Let me know your thoughts. Put your questions right down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please, we've got so many more shows coming up. You want to be a subscriber. We got 6 more episodes of Walking Dead. We got Season 3 of Westworld coming out next month. Plus, this summer, last season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. If you're a subscriber, you won't miss any of those reviews. You do that by hitting this button right here. And we'll throw up a couple of our latest reviews right here for you to check out. So, that's going to be it for me. Please be safe, everyone. And I will catch you next time. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye.